I think I just said that. Everyone, you're listening to Big Blend Radio's Happy Hour Show with Nancy and Lisa, and you just heard I think I just said that, which is the very first track from the debut album PopTosis, which is by the duo FraudProphets. FraudProphets. I love this name. It features multi-instrumentalist Sean-Halley and also drummer Nate Morton, and we're super excited to have Sean join us on the show today. And go to their website, fraudprophets.com, and go get the album. It is super delicious, yummy. It will give you a speeding ticket. I'm just saying. So welcome, Sean. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you guys very much for having me on. That's a fantastic intro. Thank you.
Damn, man. But like the album, think about it. I mean, this is like, it's delicious goodness. It is really good.
Well, I appreciate it. There's a lot of deliciousness on there. I'm glad that it felt delicious to you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
Nancy, I know you love that.
Yeah.
That whole there's like funky, bluesy. You got some rockabilly in this, and the whole album has just got a little bit of everything. And I think it harkens back to all kinds of sounds we grew up listening to, but at the same time, it's in one.
It's got a
album.
twist. It's got a twist.
Yeah,
I would
stand up
agree with
and
that.
dance. Yeah,
that's good. If you dance, that's amazing.
No kidding. At my age, if I can dance,
I didn't mean like physically. That's amazing. Congratulations. I didn't mean that. I just meant that if you can dance to it, that means that we did our job.
Yeah,
big time. No, I was supposed to get back in my seat, and I'm all like, no, I'm jazzing out, man. This is cool.
Yeah. And that's it. You guys, like, you call it jazz, fusion, jazz, rock. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's like, here it is. Everything is in a nice, beautiful bundle, and everybody wants to bundle things these days. So have a real bundle. This is a true bundle of joy.
Well, we grew up, both Nate and I grew up being, we're session guys. So we grew up playing and liking every kind of music. So when it came time to do this, and it wasn't done, at the request of a label or anything like that. We literally just got together for a couple nights and drank heavily to a click to start things out, and we just sort of played what we wanted to play. And the drinking isn't that important, other than the fact that it just removed the filter of common sense. So
but that's cool.
But that's cool. Yeah, that's why the songs go all over the place, because we were just having a good time and having a musical conversation. And of course, once I took the files home and had to start turning them into actual songs and things, there wasn't any more liquor involved. But that initial start off had just fun, raw, funny bits in it.
Yeah. So that's when I listen to the album. What I love about the songs, you get into it. It's like you go on a road trip, and I think that's what your album is very much like. You get in, you think this is where you're going. You see these beautiful green trees, and then all of a sudden, it's like, no, you're going into desert within a few seconds. You just didn't know that. But somehow it's flowing into the desert, and then you're like, oh, well, that's actually pretty darn cool. I didn't know I'd like that. And then, no, I'm going to take you here, but it all flows, and it comes back. You bring us back. So we still, like, we go back to where we started from with the song. You do have that, hey, yes, this is, we still have that, but it is, every single song, I'm like typing what I'm hearing. I'm going, no, you're taking us somewhere here, just where you think you gave us a roofie when you gave us.
No, see, so it's interesting, because what I got from it was, like, you're talking about common sense, and the one thing that is not common, especially right now, is what we call common sense. Like, it's so everybody should have common sense. It's common, everybody has it. Not. And so it's all over the place. It's like, well, check it out here. If that door doesn't answer, check it out over there. That door doesn't, check it out over there. I like it.
Well,
I love this album.
I'm glad. It's really gratifying to hear that. So I really appreciate it. It's one of the weird things about doing music at all, and I do production and I do content and all sorts of stuff. One of the hard things about doing it is that traditionally you're doing it in this small little space with a very finite number of people that like you already. Usually.
Well, yeah.
Traditionally,
family.
Yeah, family. You want to make a record and a musical thing when you feel like yourself. And so that means that traditionally you surround yourself with people that make you do that. And Nate and I, we've known each other for 15 years. We're best buddies. We make each other laugh all the time. And so when you make something, I completely agree. It's totally key. And when you make something like this, it's sometimes hard to know how it's going to be received because it's very much just kind of like you said, it's a roofie. It's a roofies with us. And if that's pleasant, that's really great. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, but no one's gonna really rape you at the end. Just so everybody knows that.
That will not happen.
You'll meet the phlebotomist at the end of it, but don't tell anybody. Okay, because I want to get into that. It's you and Nate, but then you also have some guest musicians, and I have to say this is really okay. So this is some weird stuff. Okay, so maybe we took the roofie. I don't know, but I want to talk about the name
thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like all of a sudden you think you're going here, but you're going to feel. I don't know. I've never taken a roofie, but I want to talk about the names because they're fun. FraudProphets is fun. PopTosis is fun.
I like that.
But I'm reading the names. It's like here it is. Second track is Scrubs. Okay,
I like it.
There's Homer's Journey, and automatically you could go anywhere with that. And then there's Moths and Mosquitoes, and my favorite, Eat a Frog. And yesterday I saved a frog. Really?
Yes.
Saved a frog. And
it took 2 hours.
I'm going to interview a musician who created the song Eat a Frog.
No.
I'm like, and I want you to know, Nancy and I wear scrubs when we travel because they're really easy.
Yeah, I know. I like scrubs. They're the best
in a car
ever.
when you're traveling like nonstop. That if you really want to breathe, scrubs work. I'm just saying.
Scrubs are awesome.
Totally.
It's like
they totally
anyway,
do.
Cool.
There's a reason why everyone wears them. It's true. Yeah. The names of all the songs are sort of a lot of them are very stream of consciousness. Some of them have something to do with something that might have been said in the studio when we were creating it. So I think I just said that is something that one of us said in a drunken stupid and I wrote it down. I wrote it down that night. It was like, I think I just said that. So I typed it down, and that became the name of the song. Eat a Frog, for instance, is something that Nate said after we finished tracking the drums for that tune because it's such a barn burner. It's such a country barn burner. And he was like, wow, man, it's kind of like eating a frog.
No, that's funny.
Okay.
Oh, my God. But it's like
really that stupid.
There's things I could say, really but I don't dare.
I know, but it's
seriously.
But now, did you have the fiddle player is Janae Flanor? I don't want to say her name wrong, because she might eat a frog.
Janae's from Nashville.
Janae.
She is Blake Shelton's. Yeah, so Janae Fleener, she's from Nashville. She's frighteningly good. She's actually Blake Shelton's right-hand woman. So she's the one.
Wow.
If you see Blake play live, it's the girl standing to his right playing mandolin and fiddle. That's Janae. Yeah, she's really great, and it's her actually that says Ribbit at the end. That was her.
I love
her
that.
other contribution.
See, I love Ribbit.
Yeah,
I love Ribbit.
Total.
We have to play this, and it's almost got like an Allman Brothers feel when you're writing the music. I mean, did you guys work with, did you work with Janae and did you work with Oz from Snarky Puppy? I mean, come on, that's so much fun. And then Matt Rode, did you work with them when you were writing, or is it just the two of you sitting down and then going, okay, now when we're going to put this together, we're going to bring them in?
Yeah, literally what happened, to give you an idea of the process, we had these 2 nights where he was playing on an electronic drum kit and I was playing on a direct guitar thing, so we were playing in headphones so we wouldn't wake his kids because he's got like 18 bajillion kids. So we didn't want to wake the children.
It's all that did,
so
everybody.
We were just. I know exactly. But he so basically we finished those 2 nights, and I took those tracks home. That was just electronic drums and just direct guitar. And I took some of those things and those pieces, and I joined the pieces together. Some of the songs came out as is. So Eat a Frog literally that first hilarious drunken night that we played it, that my scratch guitar actually goes, it's bar for bar, note for, bar for bar, the same form. So, but basically I went and added, I rearranged the tunes and added chords and punches and things. And then, I put scratch guitars and bass down, and then he put real drums down. And then I went back and replaced all of the scratches with real stuff. So by the time we got to the point where we needed Bob Reynolds from Snarky Puppy or Janae Fleener or Oz Noy, the songs were basically done, and I just needed their contribution to make it finish. And what's really funny is that Eat a Frog especially sounds very authentic in terms of like Allman Brothers or Nashville, but without the fiddle, something's missing without the fiddle.
That's what I said. I wrote in my notes. I'm almost Allman Brothers vibe in there, and there's some like listening to some of the like even Two Steps Back, the last song, almost has like a Derek Truck style, like a vibe to it. I'm going to say the word vibe on it because it does. It's like this, there's this style. There's just a style of sound, and I don't know how to explain that, but it feels like there's the Allman Brothers because, come on, they infused jazz in everything. Weren't they kind of like the first Southerners that said, hey, we can do this, watch this, and they did.
Yeah, I mean, the Allmans were really, one of the things about the record that definitely is I would agree with that is that it's still improvisational music, even though it's sort of like, it's pop centric, which is why the name PopTosis is there. It's sort of like anti-pop. It's, but it's still improvisational music. It still has a bunch of improvisational sections, and we get to stretch out, and so in that way, it is still jazz fusion, but it has pop forms. It follows, very singable things. You come away from these songs being able to sing a lot of the parts, and that hopefully makes it a lot more accessible than other instrumental music might be sometimes.
Can we do Eat a Frog? I want to play it. Are you cool with that? We want to play it for people.
Absolutely.
Let's play it because everybody, you're not going to choke. You're going to dig it. It's cool. And this is the ode to the frog that we saved.
But you can't say that to the French because they eat frogs all the time or frog legs. But
no, frog legs. No, but listen, this frog was knocking on my window in my bedroom, knocking on my window. And going,
it took you 2 hours to save it.
I know, but I didn't know, anyway, it's a long story because I thought it was a skunk. All night long, I thought it was a skunk.
And she
was
came
a frog.
downstairs like, Mom, there's a skunk outside. I'm like, that's not a skunk.
No,
and we couldn't figure out what it was.
That's a very small skunk. It's a hugely small skunk, the smallest skunk of all time, in fact.
And it didn't spray, but I was waiting for it when I picked it up. And got it out of this little like dipped concrete. I can't even explain it. I was waiting for the spray either way. I knew it was coming, and I was wearing my scrubs because I knew that if I had to do CPR on a frog, I would be prepared. So here it is, everyone. Eat a frog.
Poor guy. No.
you just heard Eat a Frog, and that is off of the album PopTosis from the FraudProphets. And you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, listen, I just have to say this right now. I already got in trouble. I'm getting emails and messages. No, I didn't think, when I said it about roofies, I'm saying when you go to the counter, you get your cocktail, it's not the same old cocktail. And that's what I meant. Nothing weird or anything like that. If you listen to, I think I just said that, to Eat a Frog, that was not the same cocktail, but it all flows together, and that's what I meant. So leave me alone, damn it. I love this album, and that's what I meant.
I can just tell where you guys swallowed. That's all I'm saying.
Because
no,
frog.
No, it's like la la la, and then boom. Okay, and the frogs. I also have these visuals of people running all over the grasslands chasing frogs, and the frogs
it's a
are
Calaveras frog challenge.
Yeah, and turning around and looking at people like you're so slow. What's up?
Oh my God. So welcome, Sean.
That's amazing analysis. I don't know if I've ever heard musical sort of like analysis in quite that same way, and I totally love it. I think it's fantastic.
It is happy hour, and music is supposed to be about that.
I could totally make a video to Eat a Frog. It'd be so funny because
I want to see her do Skrunktastic then. You know,
I think that's fantastic.
I do too. How did you meet Nate?
So Nate and I met in 2003 or 2002, working on a record for a famous session guitar player named Michael Thompson. And Michael, in the late 90s, like during, he's still very busy, but his super heyday was like the late 90s. At that point, he was on 8 of the top 10 singles at any one time. So he was on NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and Toni Braxton and Babyface and anything from David Foster.
Wow.
And when he's been a real dear pal to Nate and I, and basically we both were recording on his record, and MT's he's awesome actually. He's a bit of a diva, which is fantastic. And as usual, he was 2 hours late to the drum session. So Nate showed up at my studio to record drums, and of course, lo and behold, the artist isn't anywhere to be found for hours. So Nate and I just started talking, and he was like, "Oh, well, I'm, when I lived in Blacksburg," and I'm like, "I'm sorry." He says, "Yeah, I lived in Blacksburg." I'm like, "Well, I lived in Blacksburg," and he's like, "What?" Well, my dad taught at Virginia Polytechnic, and I'm like, "My dad taught at Virginia Polytechnic."
No
How
way.
Is that even possible? Yeah. So it was immediate. We've been inseparable ever since. So it was an immediate. We had basically a very, very similar childhood, even though obviously he's an African American guy and I'm white. But we had a very similar childhood and some strict upbringing in some ways, and some artistic upbringing in other ways. And we've been inseparable ever since.
See, and I love that, because when you have this strictness, that there's that balance, and I think I kind of had this free-flowing life, but also strictness. Nancy's my mom, so I can only say so much. But there's an importance of, and Nancy, you had a strict background too, but we're all creative people, and you have to have the strict to make the creative actually happen. You need that.
Well, yeah.
And also to bring out the silliness. If you don't have strict creates the giggle factor. Like you go to a it's bizarre. My parents actually, I was going to say my parents. Sorry, there's a little delay, and I apologize for talking over you. Forgive me. There's my parents were very much like, okay, cool. You get an hour of TV a week if you do all your chores. So there was a very, very much a strictness to it. But at the same time, my parents also taught the human sexuality course at church because we're Unitarians.
Wow. No
so
way.
Holy cow. Really?
Yeah. It was it was a little weird. So there was definitely a silliness and a strictness. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Well, but the silliness, that's how you get by. I mean, you go to a funeral, if you don't get the giggles, like, okay, then you really are sad, but I don't know. I've been really, really sad of losing someone or something, and then you get the giggles in the most inappropriate places. But that's part of that creativity. I know that's hysteria too, but there's that, I'm going to buck the system. I'm not, go to a fancy restaurant, la-di-da, and then there's that side of you that goes, I want to fling this little butter ball across to the other person and see what happens. You know.
Right.
Do you have
I
that
have a
at
friend
all,
of mine
Sean?
that plays totally have that. Literally talked to. I played a gig a couple of weeks ago. I occasionally play. I play a little church gig occasionally, just to as a way to be able to continually turn my amp on, because otherwise I don't play a lot of live stuff at the moment. And was talking to the drummer, and he was literally saying, I have to stop myself from playing like the hugest drum fill of all time during communion. Like he has to stop himself because he wants to so badly just play something cacophonous and just I'm here. Listen.
Yeah, you had to play Black Sabbath all the way through, like suddenly through
totally.
the, you know.
Yeah. War Pigs or something. Just start off with War Pigs right during
like,
right when he's breaking
people.
the bread and
Oh my gosh.
But that's what it is. But it's important. People have to loosen up, no matter what it is. Loosen up, and that's what music is about. So you guys get together. You got PopTosis, FraudProphets. That's funny. I love that name. I mean, as soon as I saw about that, I came in my email. Got to check this out. I'm like, FraudProphets. Yeah, I do. So the name was this gin soaked as well?
Well, the name. It's funny actually. The name is. And I'm glad that you guys wear scrubs, even though those aren't the kind of scrubs we were describing. So the name of the band, actually comes from we have, just like any other artistic people do, we suffer pretty strongly from imposter syndrome. And so it's sort of like, okay, well, we're sort of fake jazz bows. You know what I mean? We're sort of fraud jazz bows. And scrubs is actually like the scrubs that the replacement, the football players that get placed when there's a strike.
Those scrubs.
And those scrubs, like, so we're sort of like, so when you can't find real guys, you turn to us.
Yeah. Oh, no way. I never took it that way. Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have no clue about football other than, I don't know anything about it other than
universal word.
Yeah, I just thought of it when I see football. I see men in tights,
fun.
and shoulder pads, and they run around. And we play classical music when they're on TV. You play classical music. That's my about.
We put the game on
knowledge.
and we watch them to classical music.
Oh,
or music
I would
of
do
our
it.
choice.
Your album.
That'd be fun.
Oh
my gosh.
Could you imagine?
Dude, that would be actually really funny. That would be kind of nutty without any commentary and just like one of the softer tunes, like Moths and Mosquitoes would
frog.
Work fantastic.
Could you imagine eat a frog? All of a sudden, here comes a fiddle.
Oh
like, honestly, all of
when the umpires get all pissy.
No, but you're also right, because sad people music, and here comes the sultry sax going, I'm so blue and down. I feel like,
and then they show guys running across the field in slow motion. Dude, you got to try it. It's so much fun.
It's fair. You're totally right. It's totally fair. And honestly, the name of that song is actually Sad Bastard Music, but I changed it to Sad People Music so I wouldn't offend anyone.
No. You got to do it in a British accent. You sad bastard.
We actually know a person we call the Sad Bastard, so I like it.
There you go. See? Yeah, it's and my wife's English. So I would definitely, it's sad bastard music. Basically, this song is all about people that are just insufferable, absolutely insufferable, sad bastards. Sad bastards. These people just cannot seem to get up off the couch. They're insufferable.
Oh my God!
So
There's
sad
no
bastards.
crumpet. Yeah. No crumpet for them.
no crumpet for me.
Oh my gosh! We lived in England for 2 years, so we get that accent.
There's that accent, then you get into that one part where like when I first listened to it, I was like, okay, I've never been to New York, not yet, but I felt like, okay, I'm walking down,
you just don't remember.
But I need to have the stuff come up, the steam, smoky crud coming up from underneath. That's only because I have actually fallen through a manhole and down. But that was Mexico.
She fell through a manhole in Mexico,
I
tried to lift her out, and I wasn't strong enough.
And so they had to get a frog.
There was part of me that just went, Bye.
Was there
No.
was there poo involved? I mean, was there?
No,
was there
I didn't make it down.
Poo
I
involved,
got myself out before I went through the sewer, right?
Whew.
But you know how they have this smoky stuff come out when you think about those, streets of New York City, and then you're on your own. The party's over. You're walking downtown, or and I've never been there, so I don't really know. But I just felt like, like suddenly the city stopped, and I'm the only person. I'm all alone. And then all of a sudden, then I'm in a bar, and I'm not alone, but it is raining. And then suddenly, you want to smoke a cigarette even if you don't.
Zone.
Yeah, I went from roofies to cigarettes.
You've really got
I'm
this all
calming
figured
down.
out. You've totally all figured this out. It's quite a scenario you've got there.
But listen, this is what instrumentals are great. Well, music and art, right? Because whatever you create, we're going to create our own thing. And I love it because it's co-creation in some weird way. Like as people listening to music, you go, this is how it makes me feel. You have these visuals, and tomorrow I'll have a whole different scenario for you, and that's the beauty of it. I really think it's important. And instrumentals, I'm starting to see more and more instrumental albums come out, and I think it's really important. Even I'm a singer, but I go there's a importance to instrumentals, because at some point it almost felt like it was a barren land, and you needed a pop singer up front, with the sequins and everything, to get people to listen. And to be able to do an instrumental album like what you guys have done, I think that's important, that people actually and to get them to listen. Yeah. Do you think it's changing?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Changing?
Go ahead.
No, I know. I just ramble. Go ahead.
No. I think do I think that instrument like non-genre specific, I just mean like non-genre specific, because obviously there's instrumental classical music and instrumental jazz music, but in terms of like sort of non-dominational Unitarian Universalist style of instrumental music, I think it is. I think that basically as we move forward in time, younger people get involved, and they bring a new sensibility to what they do. I mean, Nate and I, because we grew up loving Miles Davis and Chick Corea just as much as we loved 247 Spies and the Beastie Boys, means that we have a different way of thinking about time, about where the beat lays, about sounds, because we grew up loving all of these hip hop records and everything else just as much as we love traditional jazz. So we've sort of merged the two. And as music moves forward, I think you'll find that happens more and more. I mean, the band Snarky Puppy's doing really well now, and they do a real interesting mixture of jazz and rock and African influences and all sorts of great, really great writing and interesting sort of challenging forms. And people are loving it, and they're literally in a huge bus tour at the moment, which is pretty rare for a 12-piece jazz band. So they're
awesome.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree that it is changing, and it's something that's becoming more acceptable. We've been in a mode the last 10 years or so, or 15 years, where no one wants to learn an instrument. People just want to be able to. I'm a highly technical person. Don't get me wrong. I am a very technical person, and am as astute at computer recording as anyone is. But I've always had this other side to me, which is based upon being a player and a writer and things. And I'm hoping that it's becoming more acceptable for people to go back and start trying to learn instruments again, and use the technology to help as opposed to replace. That's the hope.
Right. One of the most beautiful things in the art world is when people paint pictures of instruments like violins and cellos, the format, how a violin looks in different positions with lighting and the wood, and how it was sanded down. And I mean, I think it's really sad if we give up instruments because we have computers, because the warm tone that you get from a real instrument, I don't know. I know people say they can create it, but maybe it's just me. I don't want you to create it. I want the instrument. I think
it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Totally get it. Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I mean, there's something about.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What?
I'm sorry, something happened there, Nancy. I don't know if you guys all heard. It sounded like you went down a tunnel, but maybe that's just me where I'm at. We travel, so it's always a different day and a different place where we air these from. So maybe you heard her clearly and I didn't. So sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, no problem. Yes, no, I did hear her clearly. She was talking about preferring real instruments over computers or something, and I think the real issue is that an instrument, like a stringed instrument, for instance, if you put your finger onto a string and hold it, if you move even one tiny iota of a finger muscle, either way, you've changed millions of little interactions between things, and
Absolutely.
so eventually, eventually computers will be able to accurately describe basically everything. It could be 100 years, it could be 50, whatever. But I think there's something very interactive about controlling a acoustic instrument at the time you're touching it. And there's all sorts of amazing electronic music being made. I'm not trying to say that it's not amazing. I've seen some guys manipulate some unbelievable sounds that are 100% artificial. But I would agree with you. There is something about the shape and the sound and the look of an original instrument that is comforting and organic, and it feels familiar to us in ways that we probably don't really articulate very well, just because it's been in our history the only way you've been able to hear sound.
Yeah. I think
Until
that
recently.
also it's like actually planting a plant, right? And putting your finger in the dirt and getting the sand under your fingernails, the dirt under your fingernails, and getting that real connection. I look at it like you play an instrument, and it feels good to pick the guitar up. I mean, there's nothing like it. You can't beat that
Totally
feeling.
Agree.
And we have friends and musicians who are on our show that physically, this is the only way they can create is through the computer, and thank God that is there, because look at Brian Borgo, Borgo Band, what he has been able to create, because his body, he's lost his muscle use, but he is able to push a mouse around, and it's
right.
You watching and listening to what he's created.
Awesome.
Thank God for that, and I think that's amazing. However, like, he still is like, dude, there's nothing like picking up my guitar and writing a song old school style and having that, because there's a connection. Like, I talk to our car. It takes us around the country. We travel full time. I'm like, every time I get out of the car, I say, Mulva, thank you. I talk to her, There's a connection. Yeah, Mulva Cleopatra Doppelganger is her name. Yeah. Mulva Cleopatra Doppelganger. So you know why we love your name. But Seinfeld thing.
Yeah.
But but there is that connection. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say that it's for me, it's the same connection as food.
Yeah.
In terms of having a robo, they've all sorts of Asian countries now have this thing where there's a station that if you just push a button, it will cook an egg for you and spit this omelet out, and it's this entire automated thing. And for me, I'm basically a chef. I cook from scratch 7 days a week. Every kind of food, everything. And the idea of touching it and tasting it and adjusting it and making it for somebody and loving it, so that when you give it to somebody, you're showing them that you care for them. I would agree that music and food are very similar to me. And the same thing with anything like you're talking about.
It's a meditational thing. It's meditational. There's a connectivity, and like a guitar, you can smell the wood. You take care of it. You polish it. You like, hello.
Hello.
It's like, yeah. Well, I'm that way with it. It's like, that's your baby. That's a partner. It's a partnership. I believe all things are living. So I'm weird that way. But
it's about keeping humanity. At the end of the day, isn't that what we're all really trying to do with art and music and fine furniture and how we talk to each other? Isn't it about preserving humanity at the end of the day?
Totally. It's about organicness. It's about a connection of things. And I saw a quote from Helena Bonham Carter the other day. It was about her thinking that, life is art. And that the way that you sign your name and the way that you greet people and the clothes you wear and the way that you sit and the way that you walk is all art. And, you know, she sort of she strives to create art in what she does. And I completely understand that. I think there's, you know, some people are innately qualified with an ability to fully trust that and go with that. And that's probably good parenting as much as anything else. But there is something to be said for the organic connection of creating something on the spot that you nurture with your hands and your nose and your senses.
It's about, you have your senses are there. And if you have that ability of like, this is what I do, I create art every day, then it's about contemplation and knowing and thinking about every move you make, you know, instead of being willy-nilly, just do. Yep. You have to contemplate everything you're doing and thinking about, am I going to take my step this way or that way? Well, I wear hiking boots and I fall down a lot, so I'm not good at art in that way. But, you know.
That's okay. My wife's a little clumsy as well. It's a natural thing. Don't feel bad about it. It's fine.
Now, listen, are you going to tour? Because, like, are people going to, because, like, it would be so cool to see the album live, like, witness the performance and have that as an experience. Is that going to be available at some point where people can see you guys perform live?
Yeah, that's the hope. So one of the things, because I played almost everything on the record but drums, unless we had a guest. Wow. So unless there's a guest artist, I played everything you hear. So
wow,
all the guitars, all the bass, all the keyboards, everything.
You're a badass.
So part of the problem. Well,
badass.
Thank you. But I'm a badass. No, thank you. That's very kind of you. But it's you know, we have to find a bass player and a keyboard player that will be right. And so it's just going to take a minute to figure out how to do that. You know, the bass player guy has got to really be able to play jazz for real, but he also has to like Motorhead. It's going to be a tall,
I know.
This is kind
of like,
so, you know.
Because you guys, like, it's tight. It's like, it you know, you think about like Pink Floyd going live, like how many people were involved and how did they take it out of the studio out? ABBA, how did they take it out? You know, but you guys have this it's like, that's what I was talking about in the beginning. It's like, you think you're going to go on this journey. It's not next down. You're almost in full-on metal mode, you know, in some of the pieces. It's like, wow, how did you take me there? And I didn't quite notice, but now I'm here. And then just as I thought that, it's like, hello, we're going to take you over here now. Okay, I love that. And I think that it's whoever goes on a stage with you has to be the best. Period. You have to learn that music. I mean, that's a fate.
You have to have you have to have instinct. You can't just learn the music.
You're absolutely right. You have to almost be, because like Nate and I, you know, we're basically knuckle draggers at heart. You know, we you know, everything devolves into rock music at one point or another, basically. And so we need somebody that can truly, they can totally play, you know, somebody can actually play a straight ahead jazz tune if we decide that we want to play one night or arrange one or whatever. But that same person also has to respect Lemmy and has to like rock music and loud stuff. So it's going to be
I love this.
So in my old day, we call it flying by the seat of your pants, because that's all you got.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
But you have to have the structure. See, we're back to being silly and naughty.
Well, you got to have
having
your pants
structure
on.
Yeah. You need the freedom and
you got to have pants.
I don't.
That's very true.
Well, you have to have scrubs. There you go. Have scrubs to save the frog. But here it is, because you're on the Happy Hour show, so that means you get to play Happy Hour.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
cool.
And we don't tell people about this anymore. We're just like, hello, you're going to answer the question or not? You know you can do it. So Happy Hour is about who you want to drink with somewhere in the world. What are you drinking? You have that conversation. And, you know, let's put it into, you know, you're going to go on the road. You and Nate are going to go and play, okay? So know that you're going to have a good show. You're going to have a band. All the people, it's all going to work out. And after the set, you're going to sit down, and Nate can be with you, so the two of you, right? you're going to sit down and have happy hour with someone that you want to have happy hour with. So who would it be? Where is this set happening? And what are you drinking? And we want to know what the gossip is about. Like, because you're creating
fantastic.
Gossip.
Fantastic. So I would say this is I could answer this any of 45 different ways. So I'm just going to answer it right off the top of my head. Okay, it's going to be right off the top of my head, and I'm not going to think about it too much. So we're playing in London.
Cool.
At maybe like maybe Ronnie Scott's or maybe the Hammersmith Odeon or something, and we're going to have drinks with Elton.
Oh, cool! Wow.
We're going to have drinks with Elton John because he's probably the only one that can handle Nate and I together, because no one gets a word into edgewise if we're both at the same table. God bless them.
Oh, cool.
And
now you're welcome to our radio show.
Thank you. That's awesome. Hey, I finally let you talk. That's awesome. So Nate will be having a vodka cran. Knowing Nate, he's definitely either a margarita or a vodka cran guy. I should own stock in Hendrick's Gin.
Hendrick's. All right.
Wow.
Okay.
I buy it by the truckload, and I have 2 or 3 different ways that I prefer it. So one way is with Hendrick's and tonic and a nice, a big slice of fresh grapefruit smooshed into it, muddled into it, like all the juice from a slice of it. And the other way I actually love it is a slice of orange, a slice of lime, and a big basil leaf that you smack to get the oil out.
Basil.
Basil's
My wife's
faulty.
English, so
Sorry.
I say basil.
It's faulty time.
Basil faulty.
It's faulty. Basil's faulty. Naughty.
Naughty basil faulty. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in with the gin.
Funny.
I'm in with the
All
gin.
Right.
Yeah. And so the gossip would be basically probably, I guess, something about the new movie and Elton's lavish spending on records and music, because he is reported to still spend lavishly on buying new music and voraciously listening to new music, which I think is fantastic.
I love that.
When I was a kid, I used to sneak into my parents' bedroom, and at 5 years old or 6 years old, when I wasn't allowed to touch my dad's stereo, and I would put on Yellow Brick Road and look at the pictures and all the paintings in it, because I loved the music and I loved the paintings, and I figured out how hopefully not to scratch the crap out of the record when I put it on at 5 or 6 years old, which when he found out I was doing that, it hurt. Anyway, so that was it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've done that because it was like, no, and you had the threat of, you're playing with diamonds when you do that.
Yeah.
There was all these crazy things that would happen when you did that. Now I'm going to ask you part 2 of the question. You could pick anyone in the world to play with you and Nate in that area, that venue in London. Anyone in the world, alive or passed on, who's going to be your band?
Oh, that's tricky. That's tricky.
I know.
So maybe
it's the gin that did it to me.
Yeah, I'm going to say 1965, 1969 era Keith Jarrett on keyboards, even though I'm a huge Jarrett fan now because he's amazing. But he was more electric there, so I think he would have fit the band. And he would puke less trying to play with us because we're so stupid compared to what he is. He has more musical stuff in his pinky than in both of our bodies. So he would probably vomit the whole time trying to play with us. I would feel bad about it, but I would still make him do it. And on bass, I think it would be, maybe, what's a good question? Maybe Jaco Pastorius, maybe, but he's not, he can be pretty rock and roll. So maybe Jaco, but we all love Jaco. Everyone loves Jaco. Maybe
give him
it would
a
be somebody. Yeah, no, good Lord. Bless him. No, it was tragic. He was beaten to death in a club, trying to get into a club.
Yeah,
it's
sad.
No
tragic.
way.
It's sad.
And then on horns, it would be probably, a guy I really love who's playing, like Branford Marsalis, maybe. Somebody.
Yeah.
Who I met once
there
years
you
ago
go.
when I was in college, and he's a sweetie. Yeah.
Oh, nice,
Cool.
nice. Okay, so we have to play Scrubs now. You know, we've talked about Scrubs so much. So we have to play that.
And I'm wearing some right now.
For joining us. And please give Nate a big high five for us. We're sending him a Cape Cod over the airwaves for him. Like, have a little bit of cranberry vodka. Enjoy it. Thank you so much. Awesome music and just a true pleasure. And hopefully we get to see you at some point performing. Thanks.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was wonderful. Thank you very much for your time. It was great. And good luck with the show. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And listen, don't behave. Anyway, here it is.
Okay, I won't.
Scrubs, everybody, from the album PopTosis. Go get it. The FraudProphets. Go to FraudProphets.com.
I love that.
When you go there, you'll be able to go, click on the links to go and purchase. Go do it. They're on Instagram, Facebook as well. So here it is, Scrubs, because it's all for the frogs and travel and big football guys with big shoulder pads. Here it is, Scrubs.
All righty then.